Welcome to Your Healthy Kitchen from Dignity Health Yavapai Regional Medical Center.
Welcome to Dignity Health, YRMC's Your Healthy Kitchen. I'm your host, Rita Carey Rubin. October is Diabetes Awareness Month, and I'd like to share my top 10 tips and tricks for eating well with diabetes. I've been working with people with diabetes for over 25 years, and these tips really do contribute to great glucose control. And I'll also be making a delicious pasta recipe. Yes, pasta can be part of a healthy diet for people with diabetes. But first, let's check out some of my tips and tricks. So, number one, relax and take time to learn what works best for your body. Learning to eat well with diabetes is like learning a new language, and you just can't master that in a day. So get yourself a team, your doctor, and some diabetes educators who can support you, and you'll learn along the way. Number two, paired glucose testing is a great way to discover meals and snacks that contribute to good blood glucose control. So pair testing is testing before you eat and then testing about 2 hours after the meal or a snack. And it's a great way to get a nice snapshot of just what just happened to your blood sugar when you ate that food, and gives you information about how to adjust those meals. So your goal may be individualized. So talk to your doc and your diabetes educator about where your blood sugars ideally should land after a meal, and then just use that information to adjust what you're eating. Number three, read labels and choose products with little to no added sugars. From applesauce to yogurt, sugar is often one of the first 3 ingredients in processed foods. And I recently read a statistic that Americans eat about 150 pounds of added sugar a year. That's like 6 cups in a week. So it's not that we're all putting lots and lots of sugar on our Frosted Flakes. It's really just that sugar's in a lot of processed foods. So easy thing to do these days is just look under total carbohydrate and you'll see added sugar. And try to choose products with smaller amounts of added sugar. Number 4, sample new foods and recipes and give your taste buds time to adjust to new flavors. There's tons and tons of recipes to try here at Your Healthy Kitchen. And again, I've been doing this so long, I've seen so many people change their tastes and get tastes that really prefer healthier foods over time. You may have already tried to reduce your intake of maybe salt or sodium and found that if you go back to eating foods that you used to eat, maybe those foods just taste too salty now. And the same thing can happen with sugar. You might like a lot of sweetener in your coffee or choose sweet cereals for breakfast. But if you gradually cut back on the sugar, using a little bit less sweetener every day, your taste buds will be just fine with that less sweetness. It takes a little time, but you'll get there. So number 5, enjoy some starchy foods as part of salads or other cool or cold dishes. When high-carb foods like potatoes, pasta, and other grains are cooled, their starches rearrange. They become something called resistant starch. And that resistant starch is slower to digest. It gets down into your lower gut, and that means your blood sugars go up much more slowly. And that added resistant starch is also really good for your gut. The healthy bacteria that live there really love to eat resistant starch. So that being said, let's talk about our recipe, which features pasta that's been cooked and cooled. So this is cold sesame peanut noodles, or you may have seen it in Asian restaurants as cold peanut noodles or just cold sesame noodles. It's a really easy to make, delicious dish. So just cook some spaghetti, any kind that you like. This happens to be a gluten-free one that I really like. This is a Jovial brand, and it's got a fair amount of fiber for pasta. It's got a couple grams per cup. So really nice pastas. But any kind of pasta works. You can use spaghetti. You can use any kind of shape that you like. I like the spaghetti because it's really fun to eat. So you cook your spaghetti according to the package directions and then rinse it off with cold water and just set it aside. You can also toss it with a little bit of sesame oil to keep the noodles all separated. So then you make your sauce, and this sauce is really delicious and very simple. So starts with some peanut butter, I really like dark roasted peanut butter. So if you can find it, regular peanut butter's fine. Smooth is what you're looking for, and try to find a peanut butter with no added sugar. If you can find the dark roasted, I got this at Sprouts, I think, or Natural Grocers. And it just has a little bit more flavor. So we're doing 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. And you can mix this sauce in a bowl like I'm doing here, or you can put it all in a blender and blend it up. You can also make extra sauce because it saves really well in the refrigerator. And you can use the sauce for grilled veggies or kebabs, some chicken, some tofu. It's a really nice dip. So second ingredient is tahini, which is toasted sesame seeds that have been blended just like peanut butter. And we're going to do 3 tablespoons of tahini, which is, you'll see, it's a little more liquidy than peanut butter. And just gives it just a slightly different flavor, sesame flavor. And then 3 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil. So don't use regular untoasted sesame oil. Look for the toasted. This you can find in just about any grocery store. The toasted sesame oil has a lot more flavor. So I'll do 3 tablespoons of this. So easy to remember, 3, 3, 3. And then we'll also put 3 tablespoons of tamari or soy sauce into the mix. And I use tamari, it's just wheat-free soy sauce, and I get the reduced sodium. It works just fine. You don't miss the extra salt at all. So reduced sodium, this happens to be tamari, but soy sauce is fine too. 3 of those. And also some rice vinegar. You could use lime juice if you'd like. That would work just fine. Rice vinegar just has a nice mellow flavor. Some vinegars are really, really acidic, so I like the rice vinegar for this sauce. So I've got all those ingredients in there. And lastly is to add a little garlic and ginger, or a lot. You can play with this. This recipe just depends on your taste, how much of each of these flavors you want. The garlic just adds a nice little heat, as does the ginger. So I'm going to do a small clove of garlic and a nice, good-sized chunk of ginger. It'll be about a tablespoon chopped. And I'm going to mince it as small as I can. And here's where, if you wanted to use a blender, you can make the sauce really, really smooth. But I don't mind little bits of ginger and little bits of garlic in the sauce. I think they taste really good. And that's it. That's all there is to the sauce. And you simply toss the sauce with the pasta and add some embellishments. So I like to add a lot of vegetables to mine. We'll also throw in some herbs, some cilantro. And if you wanted to make this a whole meal, you could throw in some chicken or some tofu. That would taste really good. Though it's really filling even without that. And it's also high in protein with all the nut and seed butters that we have in the sauce. So that's it. We'll put this into the bowl. We'll give it a stir. And then I'll transfer my pasta to a bigger bowl. If your sauce is a little too thick, you can always add just a little bit of hot water to it to loosen it up. But don't add too much hot water because you don't want to dilute the flavor. Oh, also, when you cook your pasta, as I said, give it a good rinse with cold water, and then pat it dry. And that also will prevent you from diluting your sauce. So throw in the pasta. The smell is, oh gosh, I love the smell of toasted sesame oil. Really, really rich aroma, really rich flavor as well. So there's my sauce. And just give it a good toss. You want it to be really flavorful. So if you tasted this sauce by itself, it's got a punch, and but that's good because it's that flavor is going to be damped down a little bit with all this pasta. So I'm throwing in. I have some. What do I have in here? Some chopped red bell pepper and some cucumber. I'll throw in there. You could also add some thinly sliced cabbage, or spinach would be really nice. That works really well. And I'll throw it in my dish. I'm just going to top it with a few scallions and some cilantro. And then when you serve it with a bottle of chili garlic sauce on the side. So I happen to really love sriracha. There's a bunch of different brands. This is a real nice one called Sky Valley, but there's a lot of different types of sriracha out in the market, and it's cayenne pepper and vinegar, jalapenos, water, some spices, garlic, a little bit of sugar, not a lot, and it pulls all of those flavors together. It's really, really good. I think I'm gonna put a little bit on here right now. So let's talk about some more tips while I chop some cilantro and scallions for my salad. So number 6 is to enjoy more low-carb veggies at meals and snacks. So all vegetables contain some carbohydrate, but most of that carbohydrate is in the form of fiber, which tends to lower blood sugars after meals. And vegetables are the most nutritious part of your diet, and studies definitely show that when you eat more veggies, it improves blood sugar, body weight, cholesterol. And there are only benefits of eating more vegetables. And they also provide a lot of taste and texture and color and variety to the meals, which are all important for feeling satisfied and full after you eat. So number 7 is focus on fiber. Like I just said, high fiber foods like whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, and vegetables, they improve the blood sugar control by slowing down how fast the carbohydrates in those foods get into your bloodstream as sugar. Fiber helps fill you up, helps with weight loss, and definitely helps with blood sugar control. And number 8 is balance your plate with some fat, protein, and high fiber carbs. So foods with protein and healthy fats add satiety, or that sense of satisfaction and fullness to a meal. And those foods also slow down the digestion of the carbohydrates, and they moderate your blood sugar levels after meals. And there's this great tool, it's called My Plate, that was developed by the USDA for some basic nutrition guidance, and I think it's one of the best tools out there. There's lots of different versions, like this one is a little different. This was from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And you can see, ideally you want to fill most of your plate with veggies and smaller amounts of your plate with some protein and some carbs. Number 9 is to flavor your meals with fresh, colorful herbs and spices, like this beautiful cilantro that I'm throwing on my pasta here. So the colors and the flavors from herbs and spices, they make meals more appealing and delicious, and they can help you reduce the use of added sweeteners and salt. And number 10, which I think is my all-time favorite, tip, and that is savor and take your time when you eat, even if it's just a snack or a treat. So there's lots and lots of research, tons of evidence that shows that when we slow down when we eat, when we pay attention when we're eating, and we're not distracted by watching TV or talking on the phone or working on the computer, that we actually get a lot more satisfaction from the meal, and we tend to eat less, and we also tend to snack less later on. So it's like your brain really gets to really enjoy that meal. It knows that you've just eaten, and you don't need to eat as much to feel satisfied. So take your time. So that's it. Each one of these tips and tricks will make it easier for you to maintain great blood sugars and stay healthy. And remember that daily physical activity, medications, and managing stress are also important in the big picture to living well with diabetes. So try this sesame noodle recipe. It is really delicious and so easy to make. And you can also check out all of our videos and diabetes-friendly recipes at yrmchealthconnect.org. And you can follow me on Facebook too at YRMC's Your Healthy Kitchen to see what I'm making at home and get links to my favorite food and gardening sites on the web. So until next time, eat well and be well. And we'll see you soon.